Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay, and I'm here with a special edition. We're going to talk about Kwesi Adofo-Mensah out as the Vikings GM. And yeah, I said that great, but Kwesi is out. It's a weird time to be firing your GM. So we're going to talk about why Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has been let go from the Vikings now instead of right after the season, where the Vikings go from here, and where the power now lies with the Minnesota Vikings. But let's first talk about Kwesi's out. The Vikings decided to wait a month after the last game of the season to make this decision. Seems like a very weird time to make this decision, but let's go over a little bit of why this happened and what we're hearing about where they go from here. But to start out why this happened now, first, it's reported the Vikings did a real deep dive, the ownership, into what happened in the offseason, what's happened over the last 4 years with the Vikings and Kwesi's leadership as GM, and where they wanted to go. But one of the things that's going on right now is by doing it right now and putting Rob Berinsky, who is the head of the Vikings salary cap department, he does the contracts, he's the cap genius who figures out how to get money for them, and the Vikings have had him for decades now. He has been there. He was there through Zimmer. He was there before Zimmer. He is actually a cap wizard. If you look at what Rob Brzezinski can do with the cap, it is magical. And there's a handful of guys in the NFL that take the cap to a whole new level when you look at the gymnastics and the magic they can produce when it comes to the cap. So that's what he's been doing for the Vikings for years. If you go back through how they figured out how to keep Anthony Barr, they figured out how to bring new people in with Kirk Cousins' contract. So Rob's taking over for Kwesi, but they're using the word consensus when it comes to the draft because they're going to wait till after the draft to replace Kwesi. So Rob's going to be running it in the meantime. The reason that the Vikings do this is because by waiting, they don't have to conduct interviews. They don't have to follow the Rooney Rule. They don't have to do any of this because they're not actually hiring a GM yet, and they did not promote Brzezinski. He is keeping his assistant GM title, but he's going to run the show until after the draft, which tells us all Kevin O'Connell is now the de facto GM in Minnesota because after the draft, they're going to hire somebody who answers to Kevin O'Connell. This has to have a lot to do with Kwesi being awful at the draft. Now, he has been great in picking up free agencies on the cheap, making them stars. I mean, you got Grenard, great contract. Van Ginkel came in on a 2-year contract, got another extension, great contracts for the team. Kwesi brought in Cashman and all these guys. So he has made great moves in the free agent market, but his drafting has been atrocious. From trading with the Lions and then everything falling apart with Lewis Cine. Then you look at Hamilton's over in Baltimore balling out, so Minnesota Vikings fans are pissed off about that. He's drafted offensive linemen who haven't panned out. So overall, Kwesi has been awful at the draft, but great in the free agency market. What we're finding out more now is Kevin O'Connell wanted Daniel Jones. Kevin O'Connell wanted Aaron Rodgers. He may have even wanted Sam Darnold. Kwesi decided that they're going with JJ, where Kevin, it sounded like, wanted at the very least Daniel Jones to compete for that job with him, or for JJ to sit one more season. Kwesi wasn't trying to hear it because I'm guessing because he moved up from 11 to 10, put in the extra draft stock to go up and get JJ McCarthy. So it sounds like there was a power struggle that Kevin O'Connell has now won, and he is going to be the de facto GM for the Minnesota Vikings. So he will be making all the draft picks. I know they say consensus, but by putting Rob Brzezinski in there to run the show, it's going to be on Kevin O'Connell to listen to the scouts to make the decision in the draft. Kevin O'Connell seems to have picked up that same type of job Bill Belichick had with the Patriots, where he was the de facto GM. He made all the personnel decisions, and then he had somebody to do the cap and to, handle contracts. So That's where we are in Minnesota. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is out. Kevin O'Connell is the new de facto GM. The magician, Rob Brzezinski, is there to handle the contracts and the cap, which he has done for years. So there won't be a ton of change there. It'll just be who's calling the shots. And I hate to use the word power struggle, but it does seem like there was a power struggle when it came to personnel with the Vikings, and Kevin O'Connell won that power struggle. But we should have seen this coming, right? When Kevin O'Connell got his contract extension and Kwesi didn't, there should have been some discussion. But I think all of us were like, oh, they'll get it done. They're going to get Kevin done first because he's the coach. He's one of the top play callers in the NFL, quarterback whisperer, and then they'll get to Kwesi. And I think most of us thought Kwesi would keep his job because of how well he did with free agency. We knew he was shit in the draft, but I thought he'd keep his job because he's done a great job of bringing in guys. We just listed Van Ginkel, Grenard, Cashman, all of these guys who have came in under Kwesi, and that he would keep his job. But you can't ignore how bad his drafting has been. And the way to build a championship team is you build through the draft, you supplement through free agency, right? So teams who don't want to use free agency at all struggle, i.e. the Packers for years under Ted Thompson, right? They wasted Aaron Rodgers' best years because they just wouldn't go out and pay these big time free agents to help them get over the hump. They were like, we'll draft and develop. And then we've watched teams who just go out and grab all the free agents they can, and that never seems to work out for a championship. Then you had the Rams. The Rams had a good team, said fuck those picks because they drafted well, went in, supplemented with the draft or with the free agency, won a championship, reversed course, went back to drafting well. Maddie and I were just talking last night on the show. It's probably time for the Rams to go back into the fuck them picks again and try to get one more ring before Stafford's done. But that's it. They built through the draft. They supplemented through free agency. Now, Kwesi hasn't been building anything through the draft. And they have gotten Vikings fans fired up about undrafted free agents who have came in. Pace has been okay. I mean, he's good. He's not great. I'm guessing you're always looking to upgrade, but you're okay if you have him. Like, he's solid, but you're always looking to upgrade type thing. But he's not Adam Thielen. He's not C.J. Ham. He's not Marcus Sherrills. He's not these guys that come out of nowhere over the years for the Vikings and turn into stars, turn into great players. He's just solid. So the Vikings have built everything on draft picks from Spielman or free agency. Granted that, again, they've done a great job of getting young free agents in, which help, but they're always more expensive. So the Vikings made the decision to move on from Kwesi, now leaving KOC as the de facto GM of the Minnesota Vikings. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about Kwesi getting fired. Let me know how you would have handled it. Do you think it's right that the Vikings can go through? Thank you. I don't know why that even matters one way or another, but I'll take it. At least you're watching. All right. So let me know what you think. I don't know why I had to put that on the screen. Those are the type of comments that I find hilarious. The more somebody says something wild, that's my sense of humor, right? Sense of humor of an 8-year-old. But let me know in the comments what you think, how you would have handled it. If you think it's okay that the Vikings are doing it this way, because they're kind of subverting the Rooney Rule until after the draft, and then they'll have to comply when it goes forward to hiring the GM that's going to report to KOC, is what it sounds like. I'm interested to see how this goes for the Vikings. The whole team is pretty much still together. It's just somebody else making the draft pick, so it shouldn't shake up too much with the organization. Big fan of what Rob Brzezinski does with the cap, but I'm a cap nerd, so that kind of stuff doesn't really intrigue a lot of people. But that's, I get weirdly excited about the cap numbers and how the cap works and moving in free agency. But so Rob Brzezinski, great to keep him on. KOC de facto GM or de facto GM. I can't even speak today, guys. Sorry. And then Kwesi Adofo-Mensah out in Minnesota. Weird time for the firing, but it is what it is. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Comment below. Thank you for all the support. Hit the like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button because there is 7 shows on this channel, and we drop daily content, so you don't want to miss anything. One world, one love. Deuce.